you ever heard the phrase, the smell of your beeswax? Amazing creatures that can fly 11 kilometers on only 1 gallon of honey are dying out. This is your beeswax. Hi, my name is Hannah Brown. I'm a 10th grade Henry County 4-H'er and I go to Ola High School. Did you ever wonder where that phrase, mind your own beeswax, comes from? Well, long ago when women didn't have makeup, they would put beeswax on their face when they went out. The beeswax would start to drip and someone would say, your beeswax is dripping. The other person would say, mind your own beeswax. That's because that person's beeswax would be dripping as well. Honeybees live together in a nest or hive inside a hollow tree or log. But now most honeybees are raised in man-made hives kept by beekeepers. Let's explore the honeybee hive. The hive is made up of 8 essential components. First, you need the base. You can buy separate, but I just use 4 cinder blocks. Next, you have the entrance. This is where the bees enter, exit, and guard the hive. And in the winter, you can place the feeder on the legs. Next, you have the brood chamber, also called the large super. You can usually always find your queen bee here because this is where she lays her eggs. Notice that this super is larger than the rest. Next, you have any extra supers for any extra brood the queen might lay. I just use small supers, but that's your preference. Then, you have the queen excluder. This is a handy tool used to prevent the queen from going into your personal supers for your harvest honey. The queen's elongated abdomen can't fit through the bars. Next, you have your personal supers for your harvested honey. Since the queen bee can't fit through the queen excluder, all you'll have in your supers are honey, pollen, and nectar. Again, I just use a small super, but that's for you to decide. Then you have the inner cover. This is used to prevent the bees from attaching combs to the outer cover, and is also used for preventing dead airspace. And finally, you have the outer cover, which is basically the lid to your hive. Inside each supers are frames. This is where honey is made, pollen is stored, and eggs are laid and hatched. The hive is the bees' home. They are not aggressive, but they will defend their hive. Honeybees are about 12 to 16 millimeters long, about the size of a jelly bean. There are 3 types of honeybees: the drones, the queens, and the workers. Although there are only 3 types of honeybees, there are over 20,000 species of bees. The queen bee's only job is to lay eggs. She'll mate for about 10 days. After 10 days of mating, she lays her eggs. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs in 1 day. The new queen is born upside down. She is fed a special food called royal jelly. If more than 1 queen is born, they fight for their right of royalty. The queen bee is the largest bee in the hive due to her enlarged abdomen for laying eggs. As the only male in the hive, the drone's only purpose is to mate with the queen. He has thousands of tiny eyes which can spot the queen above the trees. If the hive has run out of food, then the drones are thrown out and the guards don't let them back in so that they die. Also, after a drone is finished mating with the queen, his insides are pulled out and he also dies. The drone bee has a more rounded abdomen and doesn't have a stinger. The worker bees are all female. They are born right side up and are not fed royal jelly. Their purpose is to take care of the queen and drones, gather the nectar, make the honey, tend the eggs, larvae, and pupa, guard the entrance to the hive, and keep the hive cool in the summer and warm in the winter. The worker bee is the smallest bee in the hive, and it has a stinger, but only uses it to protect the queen, because when she stings, her stinger will be pulled out and she will die. Some of the predators or dangers of the honeybee are humans and or pesticides. Some others are a weak colony, blue jays, bears, mice, cold weather, starvation, wax moths, other bees, skunks, and even ants. This is some of the damage that can be done to a hive due to wax moths. In Georgia and throughout the country, honeybees are disappearing from beekeepers' hives. Among the suspects, some of which may be acting jointly, an identified virus stands out. Scientists discovered this disappearance in 2006. They call it colony collapse disorder, or CCD. CCD is when worker bees go to scavenge for nectar, but never come back. Scientists don't really know what the cause of CCD is. Some thought that it would lead towards contamination in the lobster honey, their food. Other reasons could be mites, disease, or parasites. There is no cure for mites. Did you know that almost all of the colonies in North America are infested with the varroa mite? The hive loses about 10 to 15% of their population in 1 year. A disease thought to be from Australia but has recently been discovered to have already existed here, called Israeli acute paralysis virus, or IAPV, has been found in the hive. There is no current vaccine for IAPV, therefore stress of the honeybee has occurred because of it. A few years ago, former Agriculture Secretary Ed Stabrook announced that the University of Georgia would be the lead institution of a $4.1 million CAP grant to study CCD for the next 4 years. CAP is short for Coordinated Agricultural Project. UGA will serve as the lead institution with 19 scientists from 17 other institutions working together to reverse the honeybee decline. The 4 years are pretty much up. So what have they come up with so far? The exact factor of CCD hasn't been determined, but they have some ideas. Mycosporidia, nutrition, crop pesticides, and varroicides are all some of the things UGA and the other institutions have come up with. Mycosporidia, also known as nosema, is named after the nosema parasite. This parasite infects the hives and causes the bees to have diarrhea and other organal dysfunction. Nosema is so far the leading cause of CCD and is being studied in many labs across Georgia. Like all animals, the honeybee has specific nutrition needs to survive. They need carbohydrates for energy, which can be found in pollen. They also need protein, which can be found in nectar. Finally, they need vitamins, minerals, waters, and lipids, which can all be found in the nectar. But crops are being infected with chemicals and pesticides, so the honeybees aren't getting the nutrition that they need. When we get sick, we go to the doctor. More often than not, we're prescribed medicine. Varroicides are a type of pesticide, also a medicine, used to get rid of the varroa mites in the honeybee hive. But the varroicides are contaminating the honeybee's brood and food supply. This is also being studied in many labs as a causing factor of CCD. So, at first glance, $4.1 million may seem like a lot of money, but once you figure in equipment, labor, travel, and being divvied up among 19 scientists for 4 years, it's really just a great start. We have come up with so many things, but CCD will not be cured with 1 or 2 grants. If you like fruits and vegetables, we need the honeybees. They're the main and best pollinators. They pollinate 98% of our crops. They pollinate shrubs and trees like blackberry, dogwood, fruit trees, red maple, raspberry, and willow. They also pollinate flowers and herbs such as alfalfa, buttercup, daisy, hollyhock, mint, red clover, and wild buckwheat, just to name a few. 4 out of every 5 bites we eat are contributed by the honeybee. And how many of you like honey? Because actually, the honeybee is the only insect to make a food source that never spoils. And not to mention, without the honeybee, we as consumers would have to pay a higher price for food in general. Einstein quoted, "If the honeybee dies, man will die within the next 4 years." We need more youth beekeepers. It's an amazing hobby, and is also rewarded with sweet, sweet honey. I've been inspired to become a beekeeper. Even though my first hive didn't end up so well, it was so much fun, and I cannot wait to get started again. If beekeeping isn't something you're interested in, you can start by having a variety of plants in your garden or yard. This helps to create a more stable habitat. You see? It is your bee flash.